Hello, I want to welcome you back to How to Play the Game of College podcast. Y'all, we are in season 3, part 2. And when I say y'all, we got some great guests. We have some great guests. And y'all, I'm so excited about the guest that we have today, Dr. Carmen Barfield. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be a part of the podcast and
Yes.
to answer questions and talk about my journey. So I appreciate you having me.
No, thank you for taking the time. I know you wear many, many different hats. And so, with that being said, we're going to get into the conversation. We see that you have your branding behind you with Applesauce Bartending. I know you're an educator. I know you're a wife. The list just goes on and on and on. Can you tell us about, we're going to go back down memory lane, right?
Okay.
How did you get to Dr. Barfield? You know, so many times students see us as Dr. whoever or Mr. or Mrs., but not really knowing our journey. Can you take us back there?
Yes, and it's so funny when you talk about being, having a doctorate because when I got my doctorate, all the students were like, "So you can write me a prescription?" I said, "I sure can. A prescription for learning." So there's something do I have to think I be like, yes.
Exactly.
Yes, but on a serious note, I I've been in school, you talk about how long you've been in school, right? You go
Yeah.
to undergrad, then you get a master's degree, and then you're like, it's some more school after that. I guess
Mhm.
so if you want to. And so, as an educator, I have my master's of art in teaching. And then once I finished that master's, I was like, I'm done. Like I don't want to go to school anymore because I don't feel like doing any homework.
Same with me.
I'm tired of doing homework.
Yeah.
But around 20, I guess 15, I
Mhm.
knew I desired to get out of the classroom.
Okay.
And I had been actually applying for jobs and had one good opportunity to
Mhm.
interview all the way up to the last 2 applicants with the position with the Department of Education back in
Okay.
2015. And then I didn't get selected. And I mean, it was like me and another person. And I was like, oh man. And so it was like reflection. Okay, I've applied for jobs. I had either I don't get an interview or with a position like the one that I had been applying for and I got all the way up to the top. I
Right.
still didn't get it. I was like, okay, let's take a step back. I need to
Mhm.
be able to show some type of experience. I need to be able to maybe get more information to speak more adequately, when I am
Yeah.
interviewing. Is something that I feel like I had to do something else
Right.
because the path that I was on at that time wasn't, uh, in my eyes, sufficient for the next step that I wanted to go to.
Okay.
So, when you're at work at the schools, a lot of times universities will send, advertisement about programs. So
Mhm.
I had
Mhm.
seen an advertisement for an EDS education specialist program
Okay.
at Carson Newman University. It was fully online because
Mhm.
Carson Newman is over in Jefferson City, Tennessee. So on the
Right.
other side of the state.
Yeah.
But it was fully online program. And when they, compared it to some other universities in the area, the program I felt like fit my lifestyle because I was a business owner at the time.
Okay.
And so I applied, I did the work, I got in. And so I was not in the doctoral program, I was in the specialist program. The
Right.
doctoral was maybe another year and a half or so, I guess.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so I was like, oh, I don't need all that. I just get my EDS and I'll be done.
Right.
And, I always tell people when I was an undergrad and my master's, that was hard work. It was work.
Mhm.
But that
Mhm.
EDS, I said, I earned that. I earned it. Man, I was
Yeah.
doing work all the time. I was reading,
Mhm.
and it's more accountability because it was fully online.
Right.
And so once I completed the program, I was like, I'm done. I can't do no more school. Oh my God. Because it was a lot. I said, I earned that. I did that. Then the pandemic hit, and I was like, I hate seeing the advertisement. You want to finish your program,
Right.
doctorate? And I was like, oh, it's only like another year
Another
and a half or
year
so.
and a half. Yep. Yep.
And I was like, girl, you might as well go ahead and do it. So I applied again.
Mhm.
It wasn't that far from when I finished the EDS. That was 2017. And then this was 2020. So
Okay.
hey, I started in the spring of 2021. And then by the summer of 2022, I was Dr. Barfield.
Congratulations.
And I was actually 1 semester behind, but we won't talk about that.
Yeah.
It's hard, okay?
Right, right. Yes. You see, I
I
went in like Obama. Like I tell folks I went in all black, but now it's gray everywhere after that doctor's for your degree. Yes, I can relate. Yes, I can relate to you. So thank you for sharing that journey. I think it's so important for folks to hear like how we got here, and it just wasn't like you said. It wasn't something I just woke up and be like, I'm gonna be Dr. Barfield. Like I could see you fought against it, like I'm through, but then something came. You like, okay, I'm gonna finish it. But you have so many different hats, right? So you're educator, you are a business owner. We live in a world where sometimes people are told they can only do one thing.
Right.
What would be your advice to that student who's trying to like figure it out and the teacher like, hey, you need to only think about one thing and be good at that one thing? Do you believe that you can only be good at one or you can do multiple? And how would that work for students?
I don't understand why we sell that
Yeah, yeah.
vision to students. When you see celebrities doing a million things,
Mhm, mhm.
they are entrepreneurs as far as maybe having a clothing line or fragrance or,
Yeah.
lingerie or whatever.
Right.
And then they're also acting.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
then they perform as singing or whatever.
Right.
And so I don't understand why, if celebrities can do that, why can't the average day-to-day person?
Anyway.
What I would say is I guess, though, you're trying to spotlight or highlight the skill, right?
Right.
Because you don't want to be so all over the place that you're not good at the several
So
things that
too.
you're doing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
how can we make the skills that we have generate income and then
Mhm.
but still kind of work in the same manner? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Obviously, bartending with my business education are 2 different things.
Right.
However, I still have a love of educating others.
Yeah.
So even with doing consulting and bar management, with
Mhm.
doing mixology classes, with building up the staff that I have, that is still in my sight a form of education.
So true. So true.
So
Yep.
I'm honing in on that part of the business and
Mhm.
not so much solely focusing on booking events.
Right.
Because I also think about I'll be 40 this year. Events are tiring. So
Yeah.
taxing on the body.
Mhm,
I might
mhm.
not want to do 4 events in 1 weekend
Mhm, mhm.
in 3 years. Sometimes
Right.
you don't want to do it now. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's
Right.
hard, it's taxing on the body. I
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
think about my staff. You have to generate newer, younger staff. My staff
Mhm.
is just like I'm getting older, they're getting older.
So
My staff I met 10 years ago. So he
right.
was, 30.
Right.
He's at
Exactly.
30, and now we're 40. Some of them more mid-40s, close to
Right.
50. So,
Right.
I have
Yep.
to also think about all those things. So, you can reinvent yourself, but you're
Mhm,
still
mhm.
honing in on the skills that you have. So, I
Mhm,
think
mhm.
what we need to tell students
Yeah.
is have a skill set and then
Right.
become good at the skill set, and then look at how those skills can help you to generate income or build generational wealth.
So true, so true. You said so much right there, and I love how you said skill set and really getting that defined, right? Like you said, hey, in your bartending consulting business, right? You have to sell, you have to meet with partners, you have to write, you have to accounting, right? All of those things go into both careers, and so when we say applesauce bartending, it's not just some bartending company. Like you have one of the top bartending companies, not only here in Memphis, but across the world. So again, hats off to you. And again, for our students, you can pursue multiple things. However, you want to make sure that you are, making sure you have the skill set, like you mentioned, and making sure that you are doing it well, not just doing something to do it. And so many times we have folks that fall into those categories. Yeah. So true. So true.
And I also like to emphasize post-secondary education. You have
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
any skill that you have to learn it, right? You
Mhm,
don't want to
mhm.
wake up. You might have a natural talent to do something. You're good with your hands, right? So I
Right.
can build, I can do that. But now I need the pedagogy behind it. I need
Mhm,
to,
mhm.
learn trends. I need to
Right.
the proper way, because my way might not be the way that's gonna give me the building permit or the way
True.
to I might
Yeah.
fix a drink this way or make food this way, but is that gonna kill somebody?
Right.
You have to go to
Yeah.
school or class or something to learn the theory behind your skill, so that way you're doing things in a proper way and you are really an expert. And that's gonna also show people why they should invest in you in the first place. Not
So
only
true.
do they have the skill set, they have the knowledge base behind it.
Right, right. Dr. Barfield, you dropping some major gems. Major gems. I know folks are taking notes. I appreciate you for sharing that. Which brings us to, I know you mentioned post-secondary, and y'all, I'm about to tell my age. I met Dr. Barfield while I was working at the University of Memphis. I think I started U of M. I was 26. I was young. And I remember Dr. Barfield always having this great personality, super involved, student leader at the University of Memphis. In the book, Dr. Barfield, I talk about college fit, right? You have so many options now. 4 year, you got 2 year, you got technical, you got certificates. How did you decide on the University of Memphis?
They have the most money.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So gave you the most scholarship?
Yes.
Okay.
But I, let's be real, man. We gotta
Yeah.
know who is. Why am
Yeah.
I gonna go to a school that didn't give me any scholarship or they only gave me $10,000, but it cost $50,000 to go there for 1 year? Why?
So true.
What you talking about? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And unless that school has this major program, that's what you want to do, and
Right.
then you can this is gonna be the best place to do it, then that's different. That's an investment, right?
Mhm,
Well, look,
mhm.
I didn't even know what I really wanted to do. I knew I was going to college, right? So
Right.
I'm gonna go right over here to the hometown.
Mhm.
They gave me, I had like what a half tuition scholarship, and then I had some
Right.
outside scholarships. So my mom, we didn't have to pay anything.
Wow. Yeah.
Right, and then that
Mhm.
was even before the Hope Lottery Scholarship. I actually got that
Oh,
my sophomore year because it started our freshman year, so
okay.
it could generate funds before we could get it. So by
Right.
sophomore year, I was getting that scholarship in addition to what I already had.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
it just didn't make any sense to go anywhere. I went to university
Yeah.
and
I couldn't.
enjoyed it. I had a
Yeah, yeah. And talk about that, Dr. Barfield. I know I mentioned you were involved in so many different activities. Again, a chapter in the book is called Student Engagement and Involvement and why that is important. What did that mean to you by getting involved? I feel like you were that person probably in high school, right? Why
I
they
was.
I know you were that person at U of M. How important, you have some students go to class, they get right back in their car, and it's not really college. They just going to class, right? What did mean to you?
Well, the University of Memphis is so big, right?
Yeah.
It's like you have to be involved to know someone to feel a part of the university.
Okay.
I meet people now that went to the University of Memphis and they'll talk about homecoming and things like that. And they're like, oh, I'm not going. But I'm excited, right? Because I'm going to see my friends.
Right.
And so I feel like when you're involved, it gives you a sense of belonging and it helps you to meet people. You mentioned
Mhm.
high school. I was in a band in high school.
Yeah.
I was in Business Professionals of America. I was in DECA. I was student council. I was
Mhm.
a senior class officer. Like that's how you knew people. And then these
So
it's
true.
now it's 20 what? We've been out of school now. What 22 years from high school?
Mhm.
Hey Carmen, they
Yeah.
because you were involved, we know each other.
Right.
So in my opinion, I had no other choice but to be like that in college because I wanted to meet people and do things. And
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
college, that is really how I had some of the best I had a really good time in high school, I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah.
But I had a really good time, actually, a really, really good time. Sometimes I might think I had more fun in high school than college, and I had a
Okay.
really good time in college. But I was blessed to meet friends
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
I am still friends with now. And
Yeah.
I mean, these are like people that have been at my wedding and, we get
Yeah.
together
Yeah.
for a girls' night and, things like that. It's
Yeah.
also why you talk about lifelong friends. You need friends to help
Mhm.
you through
Mhm.
life. You need people to network, to help you with job things. Heck, you can
Mm.
have everything going for your career and then the company closes, right?
So true. Yeah.
I mean, it can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so you need people that know
Right.
they know that you're a hard worker, they know your skill set, they know you're honest and you're trustworthy. And
Yeah. Yeah.
those things start in college as well because you're meeting
Mhm.
these people that are doing these amazing careers, but they're
Right.
preparing for it in college. And if you never met them, how are you gonna network? How are you gonna have that help throughout your career or throughout
Right.
your time with your family or whatever? So it was super important for me to be involved. And then I learned a lot being involved. I'm gonna say this, I was pre-law when I was at the University of Memphis.
Okay.
I wanted to go to law school, but then I was like, "Ooh, I don't wanna go to school anymore after this." And it's crazy. The thought still was go to school. I was so yeah, go with your first mind out there, T. Don't let lazy get in your mind. Don't let lazy get in your mind. Lazy can take over because lazy takes you from me. And sometimes I think about it. Sometimes I think about going to law school now. It's like, oh my God, I go to school again. But I just got my lungs forgiven. But sometimes I
To each of them that too, yes.
sometimes I do think about it. I wanted to go into family law, so I was
Okay.
in the pre-law society, and I also was the president of the pre-law society by my
Okay.
senior year. I was the chief justice for the Student Government Association.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So that was a real big perk because I got a scholarship with that. Keep in mind, I already had scholarships, but that
Right.
recognition came with a full scholarship. It came with a parking spot, an office,
Yeah.
a monthly stipend, and that I used that to get through my senior year because I had to quit my job to do an internship. So you also don't know where the involvement will take.
Yeah. So true. So true.
So that was the only way I was able to survive because I had refunds, things like that as well.
Right.
But so I paid all of my bills up for a year because I had a car note.
Mm.
My mom didn't pay, she didn't pay things like that. She gave me somewhere to live. But, car, gas, that's on you.
It's on you. Yeah.
Yes.
So true.
So,
Yeah.
I use my monthly stipend and my, refunds to support myself through my internship. So it
Mhm.
was a blessing. So, but all that was because I was involved and I was appointed
Yeah.
by the dean
Yeah.
of judicial affairs at that time, and who ended up telling me working with Memphis-Shelby County Schools, and he's helped me a lot even in the school district. But that was a part of networking. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, 'cause he went from the University of Memphis to the school district, and it was just so crazy how I'm like, oh, hey, and you gotta meet people, you gotta network, you gotta get
So
involved.
true. So true. I love how you saying that, Dr. Barfield. I feel like you can write an extended version of that chapter. I love how you just saying like it kind of just like connected for you from your skills to, your involvement with, giving you scholarships, interns, just so many different perks. And really now until this day, you're still like networking, like you said, family, friends, job opportunities. And so it's so important, for our students when if they go to any post-secondary credential, if it's Southwest, right, U of M, Rhodes, HBCU, Lemoyne, get out there, talk to people, network, get to know folks, get out of your comfort zone. I mean, it's going to show you a whole other world.
I agree.
On involvement, one of the chapters, and keep in mind, this is called Keeping It Real, the theme of this season, right? We have so many students, right, that want to pledge sorority, a fraternity. And a lot of times that's honestly, which is huge, that's one of the ways that they're looking to go to college. What advice would you give to a young lady that's looking to, join any sorority when they get to college?
Stay true to yourself.
Okay.
Don't let anyone pressure you into doing anything that is unsafe, that goes against your morals, what you've been
Mm,
taught, or if you just second guess it, right? Usually when we second guess something, we shouldn't do it. If we have
okay.
a gut feeling that something's not good, we shouldn't do it.
Mm,
And we're in a time now where
yeah.
everything is on social media.
Yeah.
You're in a time now where your actions can really have real consequences as far as prosecution or litigation or being a civil suit or something like
Mhm.
that, or anything. It could go
Right.
against you. You're trying to get this dream internship, right? And then
Mm.
you did something negative, and that wasn't in a good way. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah, yeah,
hurting you. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't pledge an organization,
right,
but you just have to make sure that what you're being asked to do is something that is right.
right,
That would be my advice because at the end, it's not work. The process is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to
right,
be something that's a memorable experience and getting to know people that you can be with for a lifetime and
yeah,
be a part of organization that uh is aligned with your viewpoints and your morals and your standards, and then representing if it's a historically Black fraternity or sorority, or if it's, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
People go to universities and they pledge what they want, right?
Right.
They,
Exactly.
do intake for what they want. And so, but usually you're doing that because that organization aligns with you. So you have to think about that. Are
Right.
you doing this because it aligns with what I believe and how I feel and what I want to be a part of for the rest of my life? Or am I just doing something to do it? You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
So you have to think about all of those things and then just making sure it aligns with you and doing what you feel is right. So that way it's an enjoyable experience.
Yeah.
It is not something that's supposed to be enjoyable and it becomes something negative. For
Right.
me, my experience was great. I had amazing, I'm gonna say big sisters, so I want people to understand what I'm talking about. But I had amazing big sisters. They uh, brought us in a great way, and I'm grateful for the experience that I had, and then
Yeah.
even the young ladies that I pledged with,
Uh-huh.
we're still, we're friends, like
Right.
more than people that we pledged with. This year be 20 years. It'd be November
Wow.
13th would be 20 years.
Yeah.
And to still talk to people from 20 years ago on the phone like this morning,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like that is a blessing.
Yeah.
It's more than, "Oh, I just pledged for college." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then to be active in the graduate chapter, now and seeing and meeting other members of the sorority that pledged at other schools, came from other cities and states, but we all share the same visions, have the same standards, the moral,
Listen.
ethical values. Like it's supposed to be a blessing, it's supposed to
Yeah.
be good,
Yeah.
and it's supposed to be for a lifetime. So we have to think about all of that when you're making a decision to pledge, if it's
Right.
historical Black or if it's, any of the other type of sorority fraternities that are because all of those are active and they have graduate chapters as well. I know people that are in other types of sororities and fraternities, they're active as adults. You know, why are you doing it? And then do you want that lifelong connection?
So true. So true. Really great advice. And again, definitely me being in a college space, you go to high schools, that's always the question, right? So I'm glad that you kind of shared some great advice and great light on why you should, but also, like you said, keeping in line of who you are in the process as well. So, Dr. Barfield, we are at the end. Can you believe it?
Oh my God. Everybody.
We need a part two. Yes, yes. We got to jump on here again. As we close, I love how you're on the topic of just sisterhood, right? And the environment, peace, and family. In 2025, 2024, we just had, of course, the first, what Kamala Harris running for president, right? Of course, we have history with other folks in the past. But, when we look at women of color, me having a daughter, my wife, and just talking to sometimes students and women in the space, the post-secondary space, then they're saying, hey, it's not fair, the pay scale, right? Or we have to fight harder for positions or leadership. What would you say? Because I know, and I look at you as one of the beacons in our community who's doing it all and you're doing it well. What would you say to that lady who's saying, I'm not going to even pursue this because I'm not going to get it. It's not going to be fair. It's not going to be equal. Think about that lady, a young lady that's at Whitehaven now. What advice would you give to that person in closing?
Who run the world? Girls. Run the world, girls. I You have to keep going. You have to show your work. That doesn't mean you get work like, work till you're sick, or
Right.
that doesn't mean that you take certain treatment. What
Mm-hmm.
that means is you put in the work, you document the work,
Mm-hmm.
you quantify the work, and
Yeah.
you take the opportunities. In spaces that I've been with, I've been blessed to work with some really good administrators,
Okay.
who've given me a chance, right? So when I say giving me a chance, if I have a vision or if I have an idea, if I say it's gonna work, I need to show them that it's gonna work. So
Yeah.
it better work, you know. So I feel like showing your work
Mm.
will help that. I haven't been so much in a corporate space where
Yeah.
it may be a little different, but I still think in any space that you're in,
Yeah.
to show your work, you have to quantify your work, and then you showing your work because you can do a lot of talk, but
Mhm.
then what can you show for it?
That's true. So true.
So yeah, you deserve this amount, but why? What
Right.
I had an administrator who used to always end an interview with the question, "What value will you add to my school?"
So true.
And I always thought that was a great question because
Mhm.
why you was on this school? It's a big school. Why this one? What value are you going to bring? They could have zero teaching experience, but what can you offer us? Yeah, we can build you from there.
Yeah. Yeah.
We want to be able to show your value.
Mhm.
So do that by documenting, quantifying, and then putting in the work. And usually, in my experience, the blessings come. It might not be the
Mhm.
way you
Mhm.
think. Sometimes things don't come
Yeah.
in the package that
Right.
we
Right.
think it should come in, or at the time that we think it should come. 10 years ago, I was applying for a job I didn't get. I was the top two. I'm driving a national,
Yeah.
or,
Yeah.
2 interviews.
Yeah.
I didn't get it. But fast forward now 10 years as the assistant principal,
Yeah.
having a business that's been in business for 10 years,
Congratulations.
getting other amazing opportunities this year within my business, and then being able to spearhead a lot of things as the assistant principal at my school. My principal says, "Hey, Barfield, you gonna do it? Okay,
Right.
it needs to work. Show me."
Uh-huh.
That's where I am now. But 10 years ago, I wasn't in this space at all.
Yeah.
So, you gotta keep
Yeah. Yeah. Man. That I asked you about young ladies, but I'm like, man, you ministering to me.
right.
So appreciate that. Keep going, like you said. I love how you said, it might not be the time where you think it should be, the package it should be in. And I think that's just a big word for our students. Keep going. Dr. Barfield, it was a pleasure to have you on the podcast today. I know you're going to help so many students, so many parents, listeners. Make sure you tune in, make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you comment. Dr. Barfield is going to comment right under the comments that you made.
Yeah.
And yes, and we'll make sure to have her contact information if you do have any direct questions. But again, make sure you tune in, same time next week. We have another exciting guest. And thank you for tuning in to How to Play the Game of College. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.